Hello learners, welcome to this NPTEL course Ecology and Environment. So I am Ankita Bhatt, PMRF at IIT Roorkee, and this is an induction session where I'll help you get acquainted with the course content and the basic theme. So this is the basic course outline where we'll be going through eight different modules, and the basic theme of the entire course is sustainability. So this is in this session I'll just help you understand the basic concept of sustainability. So we all know that sustainability is meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So, but when we talk about sustainability, so there is a general notion that it encompasses only the environmental domain. However, when we talk about sustainability, all the three resources are to be considered. That is the natural, social, and economic resources. So then only we can understand sustainability in a holistic approach. Now this concept has gained very much importance in the recent decades, but it is a quite old concept. So it was initially described in 1987 by Brundtland Commission. Now moving towards the problems and the solutions of sustainability. So when we talk about problems, the major problems are the depletion of the finite resources, because there is an overuse of the non-renewable resources. Then apart from this, there is pollution of all the spheres, whether it is air, water or soil. Then there are different kinds of inequities and the species loss, which basically corresponds to the environmental component of sustainability. So now what are the different solutions that can be adopted to solve these problems? So we all know that there is a 3 R's rule where we can enhance the cycling of the material regarding the material use. Then we have to move towards the non-conventional sources of energy. So this basically gives you an idea about the concept of sustainability, the problems and the associated solutions. Now when we talk about the sustainability concept, we have to understand the main components of sustainability. And this understanding of the concept is crucial to understand the entire course content. So that is why in this session, I have just gathered some information from different online sources and I'm helping you walk through the basic concept. So there are three main pillars of sustainability: economy, ecology and equity. So it is usually called as the 3 E's model. Now why we are focusing so much and emphasizing so much on this domain? So I'll help you explain this with a simple example. So it was observed that if every office worker in United Kingdom used one less staple a day by using a reusable paper clip, so approximately 120 tons of steel would be saved in 1 year. So this explains that whether the efforts are small or large, so if certain efforts are made in this to achieve sustainability, then in the long run it can have significant impacts. But to achieve such things, you first need to understand the basic concept. So when we talk about the environmental domain, it includes the energy and biodiversity. The economical part basically includes the capital expenditures, the money and the investments. Then in the societal domain, it includes the human diversity, equity and the quality of life. Now how we have to achieve sustainability? So this is now a pressing issue. So there are the different sustainable development goals. You all must have heard of it. So there are different UN SDGs and that have to be achieved up to a certain target year. So all the member nations, they have to achieve certain targets for achieving the SDGs. But if we take a broader perspective, then we can see in the first diagram that the main aim is to sustain the biosphere or the planet Earth. And the biosphere is the foundation upon which the economy and society relies. So that is why we have to understand this concept in a holistic approach and not just restrict ourselves to its environmental aspect. Now we as individuals, what can be done by our side so that we can try achieving sustainability? So as explained in the previous example, even individual efforts can have enormous impacts in the long run. So we all are familiar with the 3 hours rule. Now it has been modified towards the 4 hours. So we have to refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. We have to refuse the use of non-renewable materials. Then we have to maximize their reuse. We have to reduce the supply and demand for these materials, and we can recycle them. So besides the 4 hours, we can incorporate another, that is remind. So we can incorporate this thing in our daily lifestyles, and we can remind and create awareness so that we like holistic or comprehensive efforts can be made, can be done to achieve this sustainable environment. Now, apart from the efforts at the at the global, national, and individual level, another major thing which is required is a shift in decision making. So, whenever we talk about decision making, the main factor which governs the decision in any sector is the economy. We look at the expenditures, the capital or operational expenditures, the profit losses, and we make decisions accordingly. But this decision making is now hampering the environment and the society. So we have to move from the traditional decision making to the ecosystem based decision making, where our decisions will be governed not only by the economy but also by the societal and environmental impacts. So we have to take integrated efforts towards achieving this kind of sustainable systems. So this was the major outline of the sustainability concept. So the takeaway message is that the sustainability can be applied in real life scenarios only when the principles are first of all easily understood by everyone. Then it has to be applied across different contexts, and integrated approaches are required to take the concept from a fundamental level to the practical applications. So thank you. And if anyone has any questions, you can post it in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer them. So I have one question uh, so the student has asked about the 3R rule. So 3R is basically where we are talking about reduce, reuse, and recycling. So we have to maximize our reusage of, suppose when we talk about plastic containers, so we can maximize their reusage or we can enhance their recycling, and we have to try to reduce consumption of such kind of materials. So I hope that answers your question. And if there is any other question, so since there is no more question, I'll just conclude the session. So thank you for your attention.